elements of society within the government. Alongside these worrisome trends, the military has been placed on high alert, intensifying apprehension. In the last 5 years, the presence of the police and the military in the streets and roads everywhere in the country has progressively intensified. More than ever before, making Sierra Leone a police state. The ruling party's continued plot to rig the elections is now becoming increasingly evident. An opposition to this calculated scheme is swiftly deemed a threat to national security by the SLPP and their agents, resulting in the arbitrary arrest and detention of opposition members without trial. Disturbingly, we have received intelligence that this strategy will be fully implemented on election day, reinforced by an impending nationwide internet shutdown and an unconstitutional declaration of a state of emergency. It has become evident, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 5 years, that the attitude of the current president to governance is militarized and characterized by the ethno-regionalization of politics and powers and the imposition of his will on the people. For instance, through the illegal appointment of a Speaker of Parliament and head of ECSL, the sacking of the Auditor General, etc. Trapped by a militant ethnic cabal known as power, and an overbearing wife who continues to display a naked animosity for opponents of the regime. It is without gainsaying that President Bio has lost the ability to govern and lead Sierra Leone. Indeed, I repeat, he has lost the ability to lead and to govern. And the country is no longer in safe hands, especially as we approach June 24, 2024 elections. The people of Sierra Leone, I want you to hear this. The people of Sierra Leone voted because as president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. They did not vote. Alarming as these trends may be, it is crucial to emphasize the following. One, that the APC has consistently been patient and restrained, even though provoked on several occasions, and even labeled as terrorists by President Bio. We did not react. Two, we have consistently exercised restraint, choosing peace over provocations and oppression. Three, we emphatically state that the All People's Congress Party remains fully committed to upholding peace, security, and stability in our country, and look forward to delivering on all the commitments we have made in our One Nation Manifesto. We especially call upon the SLPP and all other stakeholders to demonstrate the same unwavering commitment to consistently choose peace over provocations and oppression. We further call upon President Bio and all other political stakeholders to strictly adhere to the recently signed peace declaration for ensuring free, fair, and non-violent presidential and general elections on June 24, 2020. However, the gravity of these developments, as outlined above, also demands the immediate attention and intervention of the international community, particularly the International Criminal Court, to safeguard democratic processes and prevent the relapse of Sierra Leone into conflict once more, as planned by His Excellency the Government. As a nation, we have sacrificed significantly to maintain the hard-earned peace we have enjoyed since 2002 when we signed the peace accord. Any attempt to reverse these gains must be firmly addressed and resisted, and all must be done to ensure free and fair elections. In considering the board under my leadership, that the APC demands the following. In considering the law under my leadership, that the APC, the All People's Congress Party, demands the following. One, the ECSL guarantees that the counting of ballots, tallying, and certification of results will take place initially at the polling center or station as required by the law. Two, the tallying of votes must be conducted transparently through manual and not electronic processing. Two, that the tallying of votes must be conducted transparently through manual and not, I repeat, and not electronic processes. The presence of party agents and the local and international observers. Three, that the APC be provided with ECSL data management structure and proposed tallying system and protocols for the 2024 June 2023 elections. In order to aid our appreciation of how the ECSL will be managing the electoral data, how the data are going to be processed, and how the results are going to be tallied and announced. Next, that in the interest of transparency and integrity of results, particularly in light of the tremendous mistrust created by ECSL's actions and inaction so far, the results are transmitted manually, and that the political parties are granted full and unfettered access and secured participation in the manual transmission of the election results at all levels. That the ECSL should immediately release the disaggregated and comprehensive final voter registration detailing the center names, the votes, the districts, the voter names, the ages, the addresses, citizens, identifiable photos and fingerprints and signatures. That an independent technical forensic audit of the voter register be conducted immediately to ascertain the veracity of the ages and identities of voters. This exercise must be done with the participation of representatives of political parties, regional and continental and other international partners. This is informed by our analysis of the data in the journals used for the collection of voter IDs, which shows thousands of underage voters, thousands more of first-time voters indiscriminately allocated to Kenema and Kailam and other parts of the south and eastern region. We also found out thousands of purported voters who, according to their dates of birth and the he does not have the competence, the integrity, and the neutrality to conduct free, fair, credible, inclusive, and acceptable elections. That, as part of the process of restoring trust in the electoral process and to ascertain the integrity of the results, the usual support of independent technical assistance from our international partners, including the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, be allowed to play their usual technical support role to ECSL. Next, that the National Electoral Commission must facilitate the unhindered access and presence of universally accredited party agents and local and international voters nationwide. The government must immediately halt security agents and paid assailants from obstructing APC campaigns and intimidating our supporters. The presence of the security forces across the country before, during, and after the vote must be seriously and severely minimized in order not to scare the voters. We commit to protect ourselves. Any loss of life must be subjected to a thorough judicial investigation. Internationally recognized electoral judges should be deployed with support from the international community to swiftly adjudicate electoral disputes. Next, the government must ensure the free movement, safety, and security of all voters before, during, and after the polling day. The government should guarantee that there will be no disruptions or shutdown of the internet and or declaration of a state of emergency before and after the declaration of the results, as is being currently mooted in certain quarters. Fellow citizens, members of the fourth estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the questions around the integrity of the existing voter registration, the poor quality of the voter ID cards, and critically, the tallying at the polling center and district, and the manual transfer of the results, but to be denied by the ECSL are too many and too serious issues for the APC to make any compromises on, because the potent, real, and credible antecedents to confusion, frustration among electorates, and violence. Most importantly, electronic transmission exposes the election's results to manipulation, which will result in an outcome that will neither be credible nor acceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all witnesses to our long-standing and persistent demand for the publication of the disaggregated final voter register, and how ECSL repeatedly made commitment to doing so, appealing for political parties and the public to allow them some time to sanitize the register. After an unprecedented delay last week, we all are further witnesses to the embarrassing ECSL drama relating to the release of what they believe was the final disaggregated final voter register. Just within hours of ECSL's official release of that data to political parties, it shocked everyone and the world by recalling the final voter registration, which they have spent an inordinate amount of time on the basis that they submitted to the political parties. What was submitted was the wrong copy. If an electoral commission, with all its multitude, technical, professional staffs, could not decide sharing with election shareholders. How would anyone trust their capacity and ability and genuinity to effectively run credible elections? State capture of the ECSL makes it worrying that this institution no longer has the free will to conduct elections in a free, fair, and transparent manner. The government has ensured that all the commissioners are sympathetic to the ruling party, and they themselves have confirmed this suspicion by their actions and statements. A few months ago, there was a leaked audio circulating on social media of the Electoral Commissioner South, Mr. Edmond Alpha, condemning the international community for their push for transparency in the electoral process and suggesting that they were trying to implement a regime change agenda. More recently, the senior management of the ECSL were seen posing for a picture with the SLPP's re-election campaign post. Within the sub-region, Sierra Leone remains one of the last beacons of democracy. In the last 5 years, the SLPP has been deliberate about a democratic reversal. And the signs are now very clear that they seem all set to kill and bury our hard-won democracy under the guise of discipline and the rule of law. President Bio and the SLPP should know that the APC, which is a grassroots party and therefore a Congress party of all Sierra Leoneans, stands ready to gallantly and unapologetically defend our democracy at every legal and democratic means. Failure by President Bio and his SLPP-led government to heed to the aforementioned considerations before the election on 24th of June 2023 will leave the APC with no option but to conclude that the SLPP's intention, goal, and primary objective is not to conduct free, fair, and non-violent credible elections. Accordingly, the APC will therefore demand that Mr. Mohammed Kony and all electoral commissioners resign from to heed to the aforementioned considerations before the election on the 24th of June 2023. We leave the APC with no option but to conclude that the SLPP's intention is goal and primary objective is not to conduct free, fair, non-violent, and credible elections. Therefore, accordingly, the APC will demand that Mr. Mohammed Kony and all electoral commission resign forthwith. To be replaced by an independent, internationally accredited team. actions and inactions relating to the management of the electoral processes have irreparably ripped apart its integrity, its independence, and public trust in its capacity to conduct free, inclusive, and credible elections, whose outcome can be acceptable to the citizens of the country. These demands are timeline. These demands are timeline. Which is within the next 72 hours. The strongest possible times possible. In the strongest possible times possible. In the strongest possible times. I wish to reiterate. That all People's Congress Party and its supporting members will not accept any election results tainted by rigging or manipulation. We are steadfast in our commitment to upholding the principles of national unity, democracy, transparency, and above all, upholding the will of the people. Should there be any evidence of electoral malpractices or any attempt to subvert the integrity of the electoral processes, the APC will utilize all available legal and peaceful means to challenge such actions and ensure that the true voice of the Sierra Leonean people is heard. It is crucial that the international community here present and above. It is crucial that the international community here present and without stands alongside the people of Sierra Leone in this unequivocal position, firmly rejecting any results that do not reflect the genuine will of the voters. The consequences of allowing electoral manipulation to go unchecked before, during, and after the vote would be detrimental to democratic aspirations and stability of our beloved nation and sub-region. We implore all Sierra Leoneans, election observers, civil society organizations, and the entire international community to join the APC in condemning any acts of election rigging and to support efforts to safeguard the integrity of the electoral process. The people of Sierra Leone deserve nothing less than a free, fair, and non-violent and credible election that accurately reflects their choices and aspirations for a robust, democratic, and prosperous Sierra Leone. Meanwhile, I want to call on the people of Sierra Leone. Meanwhile, I want to call on all Sierra Leoneans to come out and vote on the 24th. Come rain, come sunshine, come the usual barrage of bullets, or come anything else, and to protect their votes thereafter. The SLPP will want to use the state security to intimidate the people, but the people will show their power through the ballot box and will ensure that their votes are counted. We cannot and must not allow the SLPP to steal the elections and subject us to another 5 years of hardship, torment, oppression, and divisiveness. The APC is not doing what others do for cheap popularity and popular applause. Our passion and resilience and the pursuit of truth, justice, and accountability are driven by our own convictions and commitments towards a decent, democratic, and peaceful society. I repeat, the APC is not doing cheap popularity and applause. Hello? Thank you for listening to me. The APC is not doing what others do for cheap popularity and applause. Our passion and resilience and the pursuit of truth, of justice for all, and accountability are driven by our own convictions and commitment towards a decent, democratic, and peaceful society. We will commit to continue to stand firmly on these principles. Let me end by demanding that President Bio instructs the immediate release of all those peaceful APC supporters and national patriots who have been unlawfully arrested, molested, and detained, including Arthur Pierce and many others over the last few years. Let me end by demanding that President Julius Maada Bio instructs the immediate release of all those peaceful APC supporters and national patriots who have been unlawfully arrested, molested, and detained, including Arthur Pierce and many others over the last few days. I will also implore the President to authorize the security forces to stop intimidating APC members through house searches and vandalization of property. It is alleged by social media that at a recent meeting in the presence of Mr. Mohamed Khaled, the Chief Electoral Commissioner, a selected team of SLPP hired thugs will be put together to conduct planned raids on several polling stations on the APC strongholds on election day with a view to disrupt the voting processes or cause overvoting, leading to cancellation of such polling stations. Of course, as a peaceful and law-abiding citizen, I, Samura Madi Wilson Kamara, I wouldn't want to believe that this information, I wouldn't want to believe this information at all of these talks. And I also believe so must President Bio. He also must not believe to this piece of information. I am convinced, very much so, that in the course of time, there will be more revelations on any surreptitious plans, the SLPP, to rig and win the 2024 June elections outside the regular and unlawful vote. And we shall deal with these revelations accordingly. In God we trust. Let me also make it emphatically clear that based on engagements and polls conducted by the APC, it is extremely clear that the president and his proper government are hugely unpopular, and the voters have very little confidence in their ability to fix the most pressing problems facing the country right now, including a divided nation, a collapsed economy, and the cost of living crisis. Given that I, Samora Matthew Wilson Kamara, I am the preferred choice of the majority of the Sierra Leoneans, and I do represent their best hope and the most suited to handle these challenges, I am confident of victory. Any result that does not reflect this will be seriously called into question. Since 2018, this powerful government, since 2018, this powerful government has shown that it does not care about due processes. It does not respect the will of the people. It has no human face. Should the government attempt to challenge or subvert the will of the people, there will be dire consequences for the peace and stability of Sierra Leone, and even graver international consequences for those persons who are found wanting in any plan to usurp power from the people. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, vote APC, June 24, 2023. Vote APC. Vote Samora Kamara. Vote to save Mama Salome. I thank you. God bless your cause of Sierra.
We kindly ask that we all get seated. Please, all members of the audience, we are kindly asked to remain seated. Please, you are kindly requested to remain seated. No questions. Let us remain. Please, let us remain seated. We kindly ask that we remain seated, please. Members of the states, like I stated earlier, Doctor will not be receiving questions, but we are available to answer your questions. Also, you will all have press packs that will include the address that has just been delivered and the manifesto, the One Nation manifesto. Thank you all very much. And we have our usual arrangements. Please, let us all move back. Let us move back, please. It's very hot out here. Let us all go to our seats. Let us go back to our seats, please. Ladies and gentlemen, back to our seats. please proceed back to our seats.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The leadership is now taking its leave.
Let us now allow the leader, deputy leader, and members of the high table to leave. Go.
The leadership is now taking its leave.
Please clear the way.
Security, please make way. Securities, please make way for the leadership. Please make way for the leadership.
You can go inside. 72
The man
Interview, not make an abuse.
72 hours.
Well, family, the way they watch me, we just don't listen to APC presidential candidate. Kamara, they don't deliver a statement to the nation as promised, with a mixture of press conference and address to the people.
Sierra Leonean people, not just the APC. Dr. Samura Kamara, he tell we say the ECSL, then credibility is under question. The law enforcement moving forward, then credibility is under question. Well, it is not a surprise. The House of Commons in the United Kingdom, they wrote a letter to the Foreign Secretary last week, raising the same concerns, the independence of the one them way they conduct the elections. So Dr. Samura importantly gave ultimatum. He gave ultimatum to ECSL. He gave ultimatum to the government. Now we are at the verge of a constitutional crisis. How do you postpone elections without reconvening parliament? So if ECSL is not be careful, if they're not careful, they're going to plunge this country into a constitutional crisis. And us lawyers right now, with a scratch we head, how do you postpone elections when a constitutional due process, when only parliament can then get the right for reconvene and postpone elections? So the peace and sanity of this country rests on ECSL for do the right thing for averting from a constitutional crisis. Dr. Samura say he wants, if these people cannot deliver, they must be replaced by an independent elections management committee. Some people long quick forgo na the legal forum say it is not constitutionally possible for replace the commissioner. But let me tell you, in 2007, when we have issues of credibility, in 2007, I want to listen to this.
Listen.
The United Nations allow the UN forgive counterpart managers for man the system. United Nations gave counterpart manager and ECSL, I was representing the party at ECSL, when we not believe the system, when we not believe the electoral system in 2007, we had counterpart manager from UNDP for man all these centers.
So Dr. Samuel Kamara request for replace the ECSL there's a precedent for it.
There is a precedent for counterpart ECSL in terms of ensuring transparency. There is a precedent where Madam Christiana Top, in ERA, we had UNDP experts in the archiving of results, in tallying results, in transmitting results. In all the 4 key areas of ECSL, we had United Nations counterparts present in 2007. So Dr. Samura in demand is not unprecedented.
Okay. Thank you so much. So what's your message to Sierra Leoneans? Why should they get other people away?
Dr. Samura said we should prepare to vote.
Okay.
This is because he is aware that the constitutional dichotomy for reconvene parliament for postponed election is very difficult. And although the president may have executive powers for reconvene parliament, but what parliament is going to recall? Parliament has prorogued. Parliament has been dissolved. So ECSL for averts this country from a constitutional crisis.
Okay.
So Dr. Samura said, get ready to vote because he's sure that his demands will be met within 72 hours. I just come out Wellington for represent the APC. They wanted we vote next week on absentee ballot. People away they will go Hajj. And I asked the commissioner, where is the register we're going to use next week for vote for the pilgrims? I also asked him, how many pilgrims they go Hajj? Well, now unless we vote absent. They don't have a register to give us. They want to vote next week for pilgrims and where they go Hajj. So all this dichotomy, now make we say, the register, as Dr. Samura say, is a statutory definition. It then at the Public Elections Act. If you get elements away for present, the register where they give you not fulfill that requirement. Okay. And also the 10% increase on polling centers where ECSL be increased, it not reflect on the register. Then the ones that we believe on this register moving forward. So Dr. Samura in 72-hour demands, do not ask me what will happen. Remember say, Dr. Binteli say, ask not to bone. Tengo Kanwe, Dr. Samura go even tire for talk to his supporters. Right. And we can borrow a leaf from His Excellency the President, Julius Maada Bio, when he said in 2018 that he will not prevent his people from moving out in the streets and demand their right. Dr. Samura said he will not go that far. But after 72 hours, we'll go back to Dr. Samura and ask him, what do we do?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. Now you talk about Parliament, so I get Honorable Abdul Kagbo, we can talk to we as well. Former interim Secretary General for the APC party, where they're doing the interim process. Honorable Abdul Kagbo, welcome again to CRJ Media. You don't listen to Dr. Samuel Kamara in address. What's your take to the public? Let people understand and
of course,
your statement.
Dr. Samura's statement was evidence-based. Firstly, we see, say, SLPP then signed for the 5 year more way than they campaigned for, now we then flash them 5 fingers. And we see ECSL get the infantry before everybody, then go snap, make them fingers, and the president in picture then at the background. Let them not feel say Salona full man in there. Waiting and they do, then they test the pulse of the opposition. You know, and then they, you know, anybody will elect Salon for don't caution them. Say this thing what they do a counterproductive to the peace of this country. So Dr. Samura clearly states down there out, and the registration where they do. We see names the way they omit. Section 13 of the Public Elections Act clearly states the fields the way for day, now the voter register. They are missing in the register where they display another inconformitance with any law. So ECSL cannot abrogate our laws in Sierra Leone and go with them free. This na election. First test of election na a level of credibility. You know, if election not credible, it act for let it get general acceptance. We APC no one will say they don't make the mistake that we allow. We the allow for let them correct her now. If they're not correct her now, we know say that deliberately they want to do them, and we'll be left with no alternative but to go the other way. All
right, thank you so much, Honorable Abdul Kagbo. I'll get with we, you know, because it's not some of their issues and are legal issues. So we get lawyer Adi Macaulay, with we lawyer Adi, CRJ Media Live. They talk to the wall. You don't listen to Dr. Samuel Kamara in statement. And I know say over the years, you don't highlight some of the issues here. So what's your take on this detailed statement from Dr. Samoa Kamara where the APC party and people of Sierra Leone be always on the wait for?
Well, it was a very sharp, sound and pointed statement. We clearly lay bare waiting at the heels we don't take place in the past 5 years, starting with the illegal removal of constitutionally protected occupants of state offices, to the state capture of supposedly neutral institutions like the ECSL, the Sierra Leone Police, and other security apparatus. We make up the national security and electoral architecture. And it don't make in demands. And in demands them, now demands a way we need a compromise.
So that was bold, that 72 hours ultimatum. How confident is Dr. Samoa Kamara that ECSL will be able to adhere, the government will be able to adhere, and if not, what will be the alternative?
The demands where Dr. Samoa Kamara make, now demands where anybody when a peace-loving Sierra Leonean, we believe in democracy, the rule of law, will readily accept. Demands where say no rig elections. Demand where say make we see the register before we go vote. Demand where say let we count bang ode usai all man way day, usai all man day. Demand where say where they transmit result. Not put on electronics where anybody from anywhere can hack. Write on a paper. Transmit them. Do things in open and transparent fashion. And not feel say there are demands and way they out of the ordinary. These are legitimate demands. And you don't give 72 hours. You know, me like for talk from the background of the law. When you look at section 13, sub I of the 1991 Constitution, it gives we the citizens, we include Dr. Samoa, the power and the right to protect the democracy, the security, and good governance of the state. And that we as a party and him as a leader, we are committed to do.
Do you think his statements today is strong enough to give confidence to voters that APC will be able to protect their vote? Because that is one thing voters they worry about.
I think the statement today just reinforces the fact that we as a party are committed to the rule of law and democracy, and because of that commitment, we will leave no stone unturned to, in a peaceable way, for protect the vote.
Okay. Well, what's my message to Sierra Leoneans generally? Maybe waiting Dr. Samoa Kamara cover, or waiting you want simplify for the people where they watch.
My message to Sierra Leoneans is this: like Dr. Samoa Kamara say, we are at crossroads. We then at the junction for choose whether we go left, when at the power way, where now the way in the past 5 years, these governments don't divide this country. It don't divide people. It don't divide families. These governments don't make the country become insecure. As soon as I see yesterday, there are videos I watched on social media, security forces going about, intimidating people to the point where then kick somebody in support within a fire. You know what it take that person for get that money for buy for car cook for a family? Do you know how many people will starve because of that action of that single security officer there? This is not the choice where Sierra Leonean they face. If you want to continue with that way, they vote Mother Bill, because in the power, now in the president, they get control over the security forces. You see them tear they happen, and he's not saying a word. We see Nakujo, a group of thugs calling themselves supporters of the SLPP, man roadblocks, do selfie videos, communicating with their supposed leader, Rado Soare, Minister of Information, telling him, we don't put roadblock here, but I see no more now. Cholongo they pass here. We ready for deal with them, we ready for kill them. I was expecting the president, we don't sign that Commonwealth Peace Initiative for come out boldly and say, no, we know they accept that one day. But as I say, the only way for Sierra Leonean now is the One Nation Manifesto. A manifesto where don't commit himself for bringing peace and security, democracy and the rule of law. A manifesto where commit for reform the security forces, whereby the relationship between the police and the civilian was so bad, we go repair am, because without the police, we are not secure. Without the civilians, the police cannot do their job. This is the message we get from now. If you want all that here, don't talk, vote for Samura Kamara for being your next president on the 23rd of June 2023.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Macaulay. We will talk to you again soon. Famulem, like I say, we dey talk to people that we can watch. We get another gentleman here, so we himself na a legal luminary. What's your name, sir?
This na lawyer AKK, member of the APC publicity team.
Okay, member of the APC publicity team. You're not a publicity man. What do you think of Dr. Samoei Kamara's statement and the timing of the statement? Do you think it's late, it's too early? Because people have been wanting to hear Dr. Samoei Kamara talk. So what's your take?
To me, today is the most appropriate time. It's exactly on target, and this is what we call in law when you go for the jugular. This is appropriate and it's apt. Waiting Dr. Samoei Kamara do today, in other words, a reawakening the confidence in Sierra Leoneans that indeed he is there to represent Sierra Leone, and most especially the APC party, and that the confidence the APC gets in him for make them elect him as the standard bearer of the party, for make it liberate this country, not a factor in that at all. And so therefore, he just don't reaffirm in commitment, say indeed, he is there to jealously guard the votes of the people come the 24th of June, and that any result will go contrary to the wish and aspirations of the people of this country, make them not go be surprised that the people's power, the people's right, the people's interest, the people's vote must be jealously guarded. And so therefore, to him, these 3 days ultimatum we don't give it to ECSL, to me I think these are not things that are unachievable. They can be achieved, all in the interest if we all believe in democracy and we want democracy thrive. And so therefore, he has asked that these people be replaced or let them resign and be replaced with competent people who are able to man the same activities they were charged with.
So are you saying that the APC don't lose confidence in
We don't lose confidence in this commission from when Adam was a boy. Right from the inception of the appointment of the commissioner. Until this moment, we have been complaining, we've been calling the international community, we've been writing reports, letters upon letters, but it seems they have been on deaf ears. And so thus, the flag bearer of the APC don't deem unnecessary, say, this is no other time, but now that we got 10 days to elections, this is the most appropriate time for me to tell the people, say, we are serious and we are committed to making sure that the people of this country, their votes are guarded. The decision of the people of this country goes untainted, untouted, unchallenged, and completely unskilled.
All right, thank you so much, AKK.
So much.
Well,
it's a pleasure talking to you all. The message to everybody down in Sierra Leone that make we all understand, say, peace now we get, and for make we get this peace, we don't suffer for too much, and let we guard this peace, and let we protect this peace.
All right, thank you so much.
Everybody.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much, Fambulem. We continue for talk to other people. They can't talk to other political heavyweights where we all sabi, we don't be the voice, they don't turn the titi pain, they don't do all kinds of things for protect democracy, for protect peace, for protect unity. Na salute, for make we be one people. Madam Femi Claudius Cole, welcome again to CIGN Media.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Same here. So you can watch. I see COP recently endorsed Dr. Samoei Kamara.
Yes.
Listening to him today, did you feel confident or you feel disappointed?
I have been engaging Dr. Samoei for a while. So when you see me stand and say I am supporting him, it is because I have done my due diligence, my research, those who have lived with him, those who have worked with him. He is undeniably the superior candidate
For 2023
for
elections.
2023 elections.
How you arrive at that?
As I said, having done
The research.
not only the research, but we have had long conversations without anybody present, just him and I. We have spoken on a whole host of issues. And, you know, at our declaration, I gave the analogy of relationships. I said there are 3 types of relationship. You get kechenaka, you get up to me, you get married. when people hold back until after a first round and then affiliate here and affiliate here, it never lasts.
So this is not married?
Well, we don't do the engagement. Okay. We are on it. But the reason for the analogy is that I'm not endorsing somebody I don't know. I am not endorsing somebody I don't trust. And look, it is the little things that I pick up on. I'm a nurse. We always say the devil is in the detail. And I have had opportunity to not only observe, but to interview and communicate with him. I give you an example. In a whole meeting of different people, you will observe he will be the only person taking notes, as I would too be taking notes. And he records the detail. And at a time when you're least expecting it, he references it. And another thing I've observed is one other thing that I learned in my career is called follow through. Somebody tells you, oh, nobody I go find out for you. Mm-hmm. In our Sierra Leonean context, the moment where you don't make that promise, you don't forget. But I mean, you been say you they show me this. I mean, you been say you they send me this. But one thing I have observed with him, he has followed through. I give you a classic example. We had a conversation, and I said to him, first of all, I need to come on a unity party. I mean, I will support you. I will campaign for you. I will be there pre, post, whether you lose, whether you win, I will support you regardless. I said, but how will I do that if I don't see manifesto? Right. I think I should be privy to the draft. I should have input, right. Some degree of input. I think I have been in the political scene enough where I get one or two ideas, except in a small area. Within 48 hours, I got a call from his manifesto team, and they came to my home, and we engaged. And when I look at the manifesto, I know they listened. They took it back to him, and as I understand it, he worked on the manifesto himself till 3 a.m. He was fine-tuning it, working on it, and in there I saw some of my suggestions. So this is someone who listens and hears you. Some people listen, but they don't hear you.
So what are you take on his statements today?
I think it's, perhaps we should have done this a week ago. But ECSL, they have played the cards that ECSL has dealt them. For me, if you go back to my Twitter page, I have been yelling about this aggregated data for the longest time. I have, among other things, among many other things, that I have seen an ECSL that is not receptive to comment, not receptive to criticism, not receptive to suggestions. They have a particular sentence they tell us. When you come up with ideas, when you come up with counter ideas, it is done and dusted. And those are the words of the Commission for South. It is done and dusted.
So
that means take your opinion and put it in your pocket.
Right.
That has been the trend of ECSL.
So it's not lack of you guys trying to engage, it's just them not being receptive.
It's them, I mean, imagine at PPLC meetings, ask anyone who is present at PPLC meetings. I am vocal, I am visible, and trust me, I am heckled. I am heckled that I wonder, are these the people who want to lead Sierra Leone seated in this room? The moment I start to talk, I am heckled. Right. So it's not an environment, and even when we go to the international community, they tell us, but you must engage PPLC, the Political Parties Liaison Committee, but they are not receptive. The day they were going to tell us it was going to be PR, would you believe they had armed men at the door? We have never had armed men at the door. On that day, there were armed security personnel in full gear.
So do you think it's safe for Dr. Sabuwa Kamara to give 72 hours ultimatum? Because that's bold.
I think it it must have a timeline. The elections are upon us. If the ECSL is so incompetent that they cannot produce a voter register, then by default, they are incompetent to conduct the elections. That is not rocket science. That is by evidence. And I have questioned their competence a long time ago, which is what's culminated in my disqualification. I have questioned the competence of the PPIC. I have questioned the competence of the ECSL. Neither institution is worth our taxpayer money. But we're in a very difficult position. In a sense, which way do we go? Where do we go? We cannot allow them to run the elections and go solo. We must be all over them like white on rice. The ECSL, I know, is not receptive. Why? Because they have the authority of the executive. So they feel a sense of invincibility. So we are in between a rock and a very hard place.
Thank you so much. So what's your message to Sierra Leoneans watching?
Oh, my message to Sierra Leoneans. I beg they are not talking.
Yeah, talking.
We message. Vote. Vote. Elect this Sojamande Bokuleke Yoni. Vote. And if you doubt, vote. If you're not sure, vote. Before you sleep, vote. It's not possible for let you say, and not be seen. When you go to market, you go be seen. If you begin in day school, you must be seen. If you then are you marry those, you must be seen. You then look for place for lodge, you must be seen. If you dey buy data, you must be seen. You dey buy top up, you must be seen. So vote. If in doubt, vote.
Thank you so much, Madam Femi Claudia School. Well, Fambulem, we don't talk to a lot of people. We don't listen to Dr. Samoa Kamara. We go fend them for do we own analysis. But, shortly, he do like more or less 10-point statements about waiting at the reason them, and it creates, it puts some demands. But above all, it gives 72 hours for make sure say all the things them when are in demand for be corrected, one, and also ask for the resignation or for the ECSL commissioners them step aside because they not believe in them and get independent, people them way go man the elections because they don't lost trust, they don't get confidence in the ECSL. Fambulem, on behalf of the CIGM media team, also we'll go end today's broadcast and we'll join on back hopefully later for election WatchNet analysis. Thank you and good night.